Countdown here. Looks like they have got it. You should see them proceeding momentarily. This is a Metroidvania. If you're not familiar, being here in the winners bracket round 2, we're going to kind of gloss over the details at this point, assuming that you have a passing familiarity with it. Metroidvania, of course, being that you go to a place to get a skill, which unlocks other areas to get another skill, so on and so forth. You've got your usual health and mana in this instance, as well as currency, which will be referred to as Geo. And the first trick right off the top of the run is an inventory drop when you open the inventory on this particular patch, 1221. One of the reasons why we play on this patch, it uncaps your fall speed and will also prevent hard falls. Looks like the timers are relatively synced up here in the early going. For your information, we do operate on a loadless basis in this tournament, so all these screen transitions, the times that are spent between them are going to be removed, so you may see these timers kind of start to separate as the runners progress, depending on their computing power.
But yeah, the first place we're going through is King's Pass. It's a very, very static area. Not a lot really happens. We'll be expecting people to get like a 51 or a 52-ish, and yeah, homothety gets a 51, and Acrid gets a 52, so... King's Pass is a lot of just jumping. Gotta make sure that you jump right on the corners of everything. Try to eke every little bit of time save that you can out of it, so...
Kurash talking trash in chat already, saying that Acrid's half a second behind. Nothing unexpected. So Dirtmouth here has a bit of a slow zone in it. That's why you see them jumping. It's the only area that's affected by this. That they will not be jumping in order to increase their speed anywhere else throughout the run. So the early stages of this run here past are pretty much just going around grabbing the first couple of skills and geo-routing in accordance with doing that in order to grab Shaman Stones. So you want to talk a little bit about the importance of soul management in Hollow Knight?
Ooh, soul management. That's a fun one. Right now, soul management is not that important, but in about 3 minutes, we will be getting our first upgrade card called Vengeful Spirit, which is basically a fireball ability that costs 3 soul to cast, and each time you hit an enemy, you will get 1/9 of your soul bar filled up, so you can have 9 hits in total. And casting a fireball costs 3 of those. You can either do that or heal. So in this early stage, it won't really matter. We don't have anything to spend soul on, but once we get fireball, that is the main way that we do damage in this category, because while you have no upgrades, the base nail only does 5 damage, but the Vengeful Spirit that we are running to does 15 damage, and we are picking up Geo so that we can get an upgrade that does 20 damage instead of just 15. So soul management is the entire key to doing damage quickly, because otherwise this would not be nearly as interesting to run and play, because you'd just kind of be hitting things for probably years. It'd take a very long time.
Yeah, it turns out that Vengeful Spirit does in fact save 8 years over just hitting things with your nail.
It's a scientific calculation. It was timed.
Yeah. The game hasn't even been out that long, but you know.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. So this is False Knight. If you played this game casually, you probably tried to beat him. You died a couple times, but if you throw him into his tantrum phase, his very first one here, smack him on the head a few times, and then you can run off to the left, and there's a developer-intended skip where the wall becomes breakable, and you can just peace out, and it's faster, so that's what we did.
Yeah, the only real upside to killing False Knight is it gives you an item called City Crest, which allows you to get into a later area from the left side of it, and you also get 200 Geo, which some categories do really, really need, but in any percent we don't, so we just skip it. And now we see Homothety going into the best area in the game, Ancestral Mound. This is where he's going to pick up the Vengeful Spirit after talking to the Snail Shaman. And, yeah. Not a lot happens right here, but this is the main ability that we will be using this game for everything. It does quite a lot of stuff. It allows us to do a few skips, does damage, looks cool. You know, what more can you ask for?
Larger hitboxes, which we will be acquiring once we get the Shaman Stone charm, the only charm we're going to be using throughout the course of this particular category. Currently about a 6-second difference between the two runners, Homothety ahead in the lead, and we're coming up to the first reset point in PB attempts, really, in this category, with just the Balder spit section. We basically play a little game called Counting with Balder. The world record for spits that he gives you that is not a mini Balder, I believe, is 14. We are looking to get, on average, somewhere between 1 and 3. It's a 50-50 chance per shot.
But because it's 50-50, that does mean in any PB attempt you are guaranteed to get at least 6th spit. So... Alright, let's see what homothety gets. 1. Can we get 2? 2. 3. Acrid gets 2. 4. Oh my gosh. It's a good old 6th spit for homothety. You know, we summoned it. I'll take credit for that one. I'll take credit for that.
Yeah, we can definitely put the blame on you. You called it, and then it happened.
Hey, you know, I got the power here. It's a good time.
All right, so that does give Acrid a little bit of a lead. We do expect throughout the more execution-heavy points of the run, City of Tears probably being one of the main ones. Also, of course, the boss fights, etc. Homothety is likely to be able to garner some of that deficit back, and already Acrid taking a bit of a fall there, trying to farm up some soul, so there you go.
Yeah, this area is deceptively difficult because the gruzzers that you need to hit while climbing through that room to get 6 hits of soul to kill this boulder quickly, which you can do by just shooting the fireball off screen, and because it's off screen, it lingers for a little bit and just basically one-shots the boulder. It is significantly better than having to do the waiting for a boulder spit that you had to do in Ancestral Mound. But yeah, the climb up to that boulder, the gruzzers are random, so it's just do the best with what you got, and it's pretty difficult to react to sometimes. So I've definitely fallen through that room.
Yeah.
Once or twice or 20 times. It happens. It happens. That's all I'm trying to say.
At higher levels of play, particularly at the level that you play at, past is probably another pretty reset heavy point for you, just based on the RNG of the gruzzer positions.
Yeah, it happens. Alright, and we're going up to the first kind of cool skip that we'll be seeing with Vengeful Spirit. So you see Acrid and Homothety going up there. Homothety does it correctly. He turns around, shoots 2 fireballs, and when you shoot a fireball, the game pushes you back a little bit, but it keeps you at the same spot in the air. So by doing that, you can skip through a point which that would normally require an upgrade that we are running to right now. But because we can abuse the physics, you can skip 80. Honestly, it's a pretty serious amount of backtracking that fixes. But you can see Homothety and Acrid just did the 3rd fireball skip. You did that into green path, you did it in the middle, and you do it right at the end. So sadly, those are the only real points that are used in this route, just because we get dash and there's very few things after that require fun skips like that. But
yeah, and that brings to attention again the soul management thing that we were talking about earlier. Because Acrid failed his first fireball skip, he ended up spending the 3 soul that he had gathered, which means that he had to slow down and gather more soul in that middle section of green path in order to perform for the skips down the line. So he did lose a little bit of time there. Same deal is going to go if you're taking damage. You can see Acrid is currently at 3 health, Homothety is at 5. Heading into the Hornet fight, I'd imagine both runners want to be at least 4, so I wouldn't be surprised if Acrid heals here after a little bit of spaghetti on the Vengefly King as well. This is a faster route if you can do it optimally, and Acrid does not. So this would actually lose time in comparison to the old route where we would go and collect Geo Rocks later on.
Yeah, and for anyone wondering why are they doing this, we do it entirely for the 65 Geo that he drops. We need optimally 200 something by the end of this split, so we can buy everything that we need. And Vengefly King is just a very easy spot to get 65 Geo. It's incredibly quick. It is a little bit finicky and difficult, but not nearly as finicky and difficult as Hornet can be, which is what both of these guys are fighting now.
Yeah,
we're at 1 HP, which is please don't die. That's all I'm gonna say.
Which is please don't die. So what they're trying to do here and what Homothety did successfully, there's basically 2 ways that you can approach this fight, and that does take a death on the right side of your screen. Well, that is going to be a pretty nasty time loss. He's got to travel all the way back through green path now. So Homothety with the comfortable lead could even perhaps run mileage % at this point if he wanted to.
Yeah.
And then continue on with his run. But yeah, what Acrid was trying to do there, he was playing aggressively. He knows that he's not the favorite here. And in Hornet, you can try and kind of bully her into the corner, or you can kind of let her jump over and then get fireballs as she's moving away and continue to farm soul as she leaps up over top of you with an upward slash. And unfortunately for Acrid, his aggressive play backfired on him. I agree with the decision, generally, considering his opponent, but he's in a tough spot now, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a really slow death. He was really close to the end of the Hornet fight too. He had, I think, 2 nail hits or like 1 fireball left. He was really close. But now we see homothety going into fungal wastes. I know names of these areas. I had to think about that for a while. Oh, Acrid. But yeah, homothety is going into fungal wastes to get Mantis Claw, which is the wall jumping ability. It's one of the few completely vital, abilities that you need to beat the game. There's only a few of those, but this is one of them. And to get there, we'll be seeing two pretty fun-looking tricks. They're fairly flashy, and they are called Explosion Pogo and Mantis Pogo. Explosion Pogo, you pogo on an explosion. Mantis Pogo, you pogo on a mantis. We're very inventive people over here. But homothety is running into the room with Explosion Pogo here, and basically, the sporg that this thing is going to shoot down, you want to pogo on it before it explodes, and then pogo on the explosion, which homothety does very nicely here. I like it. And now he's going to Mantis Pogo. This has like 20 million different setups. It's however you feel comfortable. Homothety looks like he does a pretty cool looking setup. Nice. I like that.
Yeah. Intentional damage tank off of the second Mantis there by the looks. Not a big deal. You're going to be saving and quitting right after picking this up, which will restore your health. Acrid in the meantime, returning his way over to Hornet, nearly there, and he'll be picking up his dash ability shortly.
Yeah, sadly for Acrid, you go through here and you don't activate any shortcuts because you assume that you will never be coming back through here, so he has to kind of just run through it a second time. Normally you can, hit some shortcuts, go a little bit faster, skip some areas, but he does not have that luxury.
Yeah, not something that we would do in the speedrun, obviously, like you say, because we don't intend on returning, so...
Yep. Now we see Homothety running over to kill Gruzmother and pick up Shaman Stone from Salubra. Along the way, he is going to be buying a stag station, the, what is that, the Forgotten Crossroads stag station? I don't know names. I run only in Chinese. I don't remember names
The place
anymore.
where you go to do the things
Yes.
is that station.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Crossroads Stag Station. It's some variation of that name. And this is where the geo rerouting, really comes in clutch. You need 206 geo right now to buy the 50 geo for the Stag Station, and then the 50 geo drop from Gruzmother and the 14 from her spawns afterwards will give you a perfect amount to buy the Stag Station and have 220-ish geo left over to buy Shaman Stone.
Yeah, this is all extremely carefully routed in order to get the precise amount of geo required in order to be able to purchase said things, and you're going to see a lot of that throughout the course of the run as well. They're going to be picking up relics that they're going to sell to Lem exclusively for the geo in order to get Lantern. And also coming up here on the left-hand side of your screen with Homothety shortly after he proceeds to become a janitor, cleaning up these brothers. Not sure if he's going to get hired with that one. He left two lingering up a little bit higher than he would have liked. But he's going to go buy this Shaman Stone from Salubra here, and then promptly sit on the bench. In this game, where whatever bench you sit at is the bench that you will return to when you save and quit and or die. And they're going to be taking an intentional death here. When you die, you leave a shade behind, which is basically a ghostly remnant of your vessel. And we're going to use that as we have multiple things, the Mantis Pogo, the Explosion Pogo, etc. We are also going to pogo off the shade. So a little bit of manipulation here, saving minutes off the run, coming up this way to head across to Blue Lake to pick up the Dreamnail.
Yeah, this is one of the cooler looking skips to look at casually, and it's also honestly pretty easy. It skips a ton of gameplay. To get into City from the right side, it is so incredibly fast compared to left side City that shade skip is very, very good. It's probably the coolest skip in any percent because it's so effective and easy. There are more visually appealing ones that we will see later, but this is probably the best skip, just because of how much raw content it skips.
Mm-hmm.
And now we see Acrid playing Homothety Light, going into Fungal Waste and doing Explosion Pogo and Mantis Pogo. Because Homothety is kind of just going to be running through some very, very static, kind of boring areas, not a lot happens. Let's just look at Acrid for the time being, Let's focus on my boy.
Alright, so Mantis Pogo coming up for Acrid. Hits lever.
Oh.
Triple?
Oh,
no, it looks like you might have to go around.
Pull the single. No, I believe in them. I believe. Save it.
Very close.
Oh,
okay, nice setup.
He's done it.
Very nice setup. Okay.
So that is harder to have a backup for than you would think, because very few people ever practice backups for actual PB attempts. If they miss it, they just reset.
Mm-hmm.
So finding a backup and making it work with one mantis is really impressive. I'm pretty impressed. So what you saw homothety do right there was jump off the dream platform and fall down to respawn. That is because there is a huge waiting time that you need to do for the actual moth to start spawning the platforms. And if you die, it just kind of resets that and starts it once you respawn. So it saves a little bit of time with the timer that we do. So you can see homothety now just dashing. He knows where all the platforms are, so this is not really a difficult spot at all. It's something that if you fall, it's pretty embarrassing, and I was really hoping I was going to jinx him. I'm a bit sad now.
Like you were alluding to, for those of you that might be...
Oh no, Acrid, you can't do this! You know what's going to happen now! Oh my gosh. Oh, I love these races. Alright. That is what's known as an eye papa. It's really good. Alright, homothety just did a trick similar to what you did at the beginning of the game, where if you pause and unpause, you get control of your character back, and because you do that while you're supposed to be in a cutscene, you can dash and move, but when you come out of said cutscene, you're supposed to be waking up, so you slide along your face. It is a very fun looking glitch. I'm a big fan of it. So
a little bit of road rash, but nothing that the vessel can't handle.
Compared to getting stabbed and hit with balls of infection, a little road rash, what's that gonna hurt? It's fine.
Whatever, not a big deal.
Alright, homothety is coming into probably the most interesting part to look at of the run. He's running into City of Tears, and the entire name of the game in here is go fast and get a lot of money.
Go fast, get a lot of money, farm a lot of soul, and just generally, like, the platforming in this area is deceptively the most precise in this category, just with all the enemies that want to kill you in the tight confined spaces in which they want to do it. So you see little minor pogo strats in order to get some damage in, go across, gather a little bit of soul, turn around, hit the fireball. All of those small little optimizations amount to some pretty big time saves here in City of Tears, and it's not uncommon for newer runners to lose a lot of time here because of all those small little manipulations that high caliber runners do.
They are very, very difficult. They might look not that bad, but I assure you, they are not easy. So you've seen him pick up 2 relics, a Wanderer's Journal and a Hallinus Seal, and he'll be taking the bench here just for safety because this is like a tournament. If he, there's a potential death up ahead that if he dies, it is extremely bad. It is probably run ending, so this is just a little bit of safety. You would not normally do that, but you kind of want to be able to finish a run no matter what in a tournament, so...
Yeah, there are certain concessions you will expect to see even high caliber runners like homothety make in a race situation, just because this is a brutal game, never mind a category, and taking deaths in this game is really punishing, given where you can often be reset back to. So homothety, wouldn't be surprised at all for some extra safety benches, particularly Umu coming up in about 7-ish minutes. Or so, depending on how his Watcher Knight's fight goes, which he is traversing his way to now. And you're going to be seeing him go pick up Lantern after all this geo farming as well. You want to talk about the importance of that, Pest?
Yeah, sure. Alright, so there are a few items in this game that you can't do fun skips to, get around and actually still beat the game. The items that you need for that, you need Claw, you don't technically need Dash, which I was about to say. You need Claw and either Isma's or C-Dash, so, and Dream Note, because you need to kill the Dreamers. But to get to Dreamers, like Monomon, for example, you need Isma's or C-Dash. And Isma's is horrendously slow. It requires a lot of backtracking. Or you could go get C-Dash, which requires you to get Dive, or to pick up the Lantern to use the toll coming out of Crossroads. And that is why we pick up Geo, that is why we pick up Relics, and I'm going to stop talking about that because homothety is fighting Watcher Knights, which is really fun.
Got a
These
141.
Are very much so the hardest thing about learning this game for anyone, new. And it is honestly really fun to watch high-level runners do it, and homothety is one of, if not the best, Watcher Knights fighter. He's gotten some insane times.
About a 141 separation right now between the runners as Acrid takes a fall off the Dream platforms. 17 minutes. That was a second area fall, unintended. As Pest alluded to earlier with the initial fall that you take, that one is definitely not. Meanwhile, left-hand side of your screen, phase continues for homothety.
That's a rough pattern.
Again. Yeah, kind of got shoved into a corner there as the one of the Watcher Knights was rolling away. Couldn't quite get the fireballs that he wanted. Takes a hit, turns around, gets another fireball in. Watcher Knight jumps over top, unfavorable. Gets rolled into again, down to 2 health, no soul. Playing a little bit careful here, right-hand side.
Yeah. Even for really, really experienced runners, if you get really unfortunate patterns, Watcher Knights are still very, very difficult to beat. And even though it got a little bit dicey during the 3rd set, homothety still makes it look pretty easy. Finishing with 2 HP, easy mode. And I was going to say, only a 140 separation between Acrid and homothety, with Acrid having to redo the entirety of the Mantis or Mothwing Cloak segment. That's pretty good. I'm impressed with that. Alright, and now we see Acrid starting to do the city segment, and homothety is just, you know, he's just jumping around. He's having a good time.
Yeah, my apologies, 340.
Oh, 340? Oh.
Yeah, I needed to learn how to English there for a second.
I see. That's a little bit more understandable. Alright. Yeah. A little less impressed, but it happens, you know? It happens. Alright, homothety is beating up a Pinata, also known as Lurian. This is one of the 3 Dreamers that you need to open up the pathway to the final boss of the game. And yeah, this is what everything's been alluding to. You gotta go kill those Dreamers, and to do that, you need items.
Yep. And the Dream Nail is what gives you access to this Dream segment here. There's going to be 2 more Dreamers, as you probably saw there on the Black Egg Temple, that we need to go and bust up, as said Pinatas. 2 of them are gated behind bosses, one of them the Watcher Knights, which you just saw. Mothby now heading to the 2nd Dreamer, which is gated behind another jellyfish boss called Umu, and the last one, deceptively difficult, not behind a boss, but rather behind some very tight platforming in some dark corridors over off in Beast Den. So still some places here where Acrid can possibly catch up, but pretty significant deficit at this point, and homothety seems to have shaken off whatever possible race nerves he might have had and is having a pretty clean run here so far as he heads on his way to his 2nd Dreamer.
Yeah, homothety, he's had a very solid race. It hasn't been anything super incredible. There's been a few mistakes here and there, but there's been nothing even close to run ending, so that's all you can really ask for in a no reset. So you saw homothety pick up a bunch of Geo, and he picked up the last relic right outside of Watcher Knights, so now we get to walk over to Relic Dealer Lem and sell everything and get a bunch of money. To do that, or we do this because we need to buy Lantern, which is 300, or not 300, which is 1800 Geo, and we need to buy the King Stag Station to, you know, get up and buy the Lantern, which is another 300. Beyond that, we have 1 more Stag Station that we need to buy right at the end of the game after Beast Den. So you want to be ending this section with, I think it's 2300 something Geo, 2320, 2330. And you will see after homothety finishes selling all of his relics to Lem, I think he'll be finishing with very, very close to good Geo already.
Yeah, he'll be within striking distance, if not over top.
What's up?
I said he'll be within striking distance, if not in perfect position. Yeah, there you go, 23-24, he's fine.
Yeah, he's good. Some runners will have to farm a little bit more Geo right after Lem, but for the most part, this is where you're set on Geo. So, all right, yeah, looks like homothety's getting a little bit more. Because he was in that little, you know, spooky section where he's technically good, but if he misses anything, he needs to farm it later, which is rough.
Mm-hmm.
And Acrid is now fighting Watcher Knights. That's more interesting. I'm gonna look at him and talk about that. So let's see how this stacks up to homothety's fight. I'm intrigued. It's a decent start, decent patterns.
Yeah, very nice getting over the top there to get the double hit fireball in, and managing his position pretty well. Takes a hit to deal a hit, not too bad, tripping over, farming a little bit of soul, waiting for the pattern to make itself relevant to his optimal preference here, but not quite getting the luck that he wanted. One of the Watcher Knights skipped over to the other side, that's alright. Farm some soul, throw some fireballs in there. Looks like he got a double hit on that one as the Watcher Knight was running away. Should be 2 left total. And not too bad of a fight until that hit right there, down to 2 health, a little bit spoopy. Ooh, nice dodge! Heading off to the left there, right at the same time as the Watcher Knight was coming in. That was within pixels of killing him. He's close now. He gets the last fireball in. Very well performed by Acrid.
That's a solid fight. I like that. That was really good. Acrid was having some trouble with the the Watch Knight's consistency, and now he reaches the true final boss, jumping up on that platform. No, that was a really good fight from Acrid. I'm pretty impressed. He said he was having some trouble getting the consistency of those fights down before the race, so I'm very glad that he didn't die. Alright, homothety is now running up to Crystal Peaks, which is the most platformy execution, just like completely static. It's very fun to look at. A lot of the enemies in this game have RNG a little bit on how they spawn, on where they move, but almost everything in this area is the same time after time, so you can get some very fun, very optimized movement here.
Yeah, so that toll to open the gate, there is a reason we buy Lantern in the first place, because it is a hard lock in terms of access. The game doesn't check to see whether or not you have Lantern. And homothety pretty much winning the race with the scurry look down as well. Gets the Pog Axe.
Let's go! That is a risky strat that saves 2 seconds. I love to see it. Let's go. Alright. But yeah, the toll that he had to open back there is the entire reason that we have to farm up 1800 Geo and buy Lantern. If we could just not... And he gets it on cycle!
That is amazing. Homothety on fire here right now in CP.
Let's go. He's going for all the fun strats. This is what I like to see.
If he doesn't under the platform, we shall all be tremendously disappointed. And we know he's listening to the stream.
Let's go, Homothety. Come on, where's the Homo Ball? I want to see it.
So named after him, saves next to no time. I think it's like, what, 0.2 seconds?
It's 0.1. If 0.1.
If 0.1.
Yeah, it's...
But it's named after him. You're going to see it coming up shortly. He just does a fireball basically to stall in the air for a little second, get another dash, boom, there it is.
Yep. For anyone that doesn't expect that and they see it for the first time, it's terrifying, but it's exceptionally consistent. There is a riskier version of that where you don't fireball. That one is a little bit less safe. That one's pretty risky, but it saves another grand total of 0.1 seconds.
Yeah. Intentional damage tank through some of the lasers there as well. You may have been questioning that. That is on purpose in order to get the appropriate cycle where you saw him kind of do a bit of a jump stall. His 2 lasers were firing on screen, and then he dashed through. That is entirely a cycle manipulation setup. You're going to see Acrid go for the same thing when he gets to his Crystal Peaks.
That was a really solid Crystal Peaks from Homothety. I'm impressed.
23-20 quit out on Crystal Heart. We'll get an update for you once Acrid reaches that on the time separation between the runners.
That's what I like to see. Let's go for the fun strats. He hits them all. Let's go, Homothety. I believe in you. 2 cycle Umu now.
Yeah, so now he's heading on the way to Umu, and this is probably the most frustrating run killer in all of any percent NMG.
I'll stop you right there. It is the worst. It is the most frustrating run killer. This is a very deceptively difficult boss. Umu that is coming up is a big old jellyfish. It is a boss that you can't fight for a while. You have to wait until your lovely friend Quirrell actually leaves Umu vulnerable, and then the boss itself actually has 300 HP, and we do very specific damage cycles that do 150 damage in each phase, and if you miss it, then your PB's kind of dead, and it's very difficult to recover from, because getting an extra cycle on Umu, which is what we call it, which is a series of attacks, is 20 seconds lost around that. And if you're really looking to push an optimized time, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, it's just a hairball over 20 seconds if you have to get an extra cycle, not including whether or not you get an extra attack on that cycle as well, which can easily push it over 30 seconds. So particularly when you're running at the highest level of this game, this is world record attempt kind of deal. It can just break your run, and it's extremely frustrating that it's 25 minutes into the run basically by the time you crack this boss open. So it's one of those things though. If you're a speedrunner, chances are pretty good you've encountered something like this in one of your runs, whatever game it is that you play. So taking a look at the setup here now on Homothety's side, left side of your screen, 2 Dream Nails in, damage tank. I don't think he's getting the...
He can't save that. Alright. That's a bit unfortunate, but he got enough damage in that it makes a 3 cycle extremely easy, so you'll be looking to see that. Optimally, you would kill this boss in 2 cycles, but he walked into Umu just a little bit too early, and an extra attack. Oh boy.
Ooh, Acrid right side taking some extra damage to the infected large Venge Flies there. Does he scurry look down though? Yes, he does. Fantastic. Excellent work by Acrid. Down to 2 health though, heading into Crystal Peaks, not ideal. You're probably going to see him heal up here due to the aforementioned damage tanking that we were talking about earlier. Meanwhile, homothety, left side, it has to kind of do a little bit of dodging around here under the platform to manipulate him into the right position, and does so and completes the 3 cycle successfully, and will be soon collecting his second of 3 Dreamers.
It was close, Acrid. I like the attempt. You can
Going for it again.
You can do it. Yeah, that's weird. It's a weird. This trick that Acrid is doing is very, very difficult. It is not nearly as easy as it looks. But you got a second try, and that's really, really good. Now Acrid gets to go through the fun platforming segment. Homothety gets to beat up on a pinata. We're just having a good time all in all. It's a good time.
Homothety informing us that his PB was dead at Balder, so no stress of that on his end. On top of the stress of a race, doesn't have to worry about being on potential PB phase. So
yeah, the good old 6 spit was a nice way to start off the race for him.
Yeah,
Acrid. I don't know the cycle for this room after that. That's okay.
Just taking some damage. Just taking some damage.
That was almost
because he
can. Almost a good fix, and then it wasn't. All right, but Acrid's probably going to heal up here because of the damage tank in the Crystal Heart room. There is a way to do that without tanking the damage, but I don't know it, and a lot of people don't know it because...
Yeah, like you were alluding to earlier, there are some strats that you practice, and if you don't have them, like especially when you're going on PB attempts, you'll just reset. And this is another one of those situations where it's not something as a backup strat you would particularly practice. So healing here is, yeah, it's a time loss, but it's
Acrid gets the double dash. Yeah, I love it. It's the other strat that I was talking about. It is way harder than Homo Ball. It looks awesome.
Yeah, but it's also setting up for basically the comfortable strat that he knows, which is setting up that cycle right there.
Yes.
And heading off now to grab Crystal Heart and do a save and quit. And his time, I think he's 7:43.
Oh, he's setting up for Mr. Mushroom. Is this what this is? It is Mr. Mushroom. Homothety, you maniac. Oh my god, I love it. This is BM.
Explain Mr. So Mushroom good. To people who may not understand what this is that he's in here.
Mr. Mushroom, there is an NPC that appears after, I think it's after you beat the Hollow Knight, that if you talk to him in, I think, 4 or 5 different places, then you can unlock a new ending screen when you kill the Hollow Knight. I'm not 100% sure, because I haven't done it. It's it's one of the few things I haven't done in this game, but it's something that Homothety memed about a while ago when he was going for more PB attempts. He was like, if you miss a run to missing 2 cycle and you get a 3 cycle instead, you can always, transition the run into a Mr. Mushroom ending. So I'm glad to see the return of that meme. So Homothety would normally be going through Queen's Gardens on an actual PB attempt, but instead we get to see Homothety do Deep Nest, and I'm pretty sure Acrid does Queen's Gardens. So we'll actually get to see both options. These are 2 different, very viable routes to get to the same spot. Queen's Gardens is harder, but a lot faster, and Deep Nest is consistent but slow.
I think it's about a 40-second difference based on the QGA trick, whether or not you go for it immediately or head for Deep Nest instead. So this is giving Acrid something of an opportunity to come back in this race if for whatever reason Homothety makes a drastic series of mistakes on top of memeing. But he did have a 4-minute and 23-second advantage as a Crystal Heart to work with, so he's feeling pretty comfortable, suffice it to say.
Yeah.
Heading off to do this. Have a little bit of fun,
This is great. I'm loving this. This is fun.
Alright, Umu, right-hand side of the screen for Acrid, looking to manipulate Umu into the central platform, same as Homothety did, looking for the 2 cycle. He's good on soul, he is good on health. I did not see whether or not he took the safety bench just above here in the Teacher's Archives.
I don't think he did, because he had to heal a bunch.
Okay. So he'll get a Dream Nail in here, be at full soul, pretty much ready to do... Oh, extra attack. You got an extra attack.
So optimally, you would only have 3 attacks in this phase, but if Umu decides to be incredibly rude to you, there's a 50% shot to get an extra attack, which is what Acrid got right there, but he actually still gets the correct damage rotation. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
It's not easy to... Oh, Acrid.
Yeah, he intentionally took 2 damage in order to be able to set that up. So this a bit of a risky play here by Acrid, but I really, really like it, given what Homothety's doing right now. If he can pull off the 2-cycle here successfully, which he's not quite going to be able to do, he would have saved a little bit of time, and actually perhaps, maybe gotten Homothety's head a little bit about...
no, Acrid beam board. Oh, no.
Down to 1 health, though. Oh, and he dashes into the lightning. Acrid, please. Oh, no, he did not safety bench. He is back in dirt mouth. That is... We might actually... I wouldn't be surprised to see a forfeit here.
I don't think he's going to forfeit. I think he'll finish.
He'll play it out?
Yeah. He'll play it out, but it is what it is. Umu is a difficult boss, and he got very unfortunate with the extra attack, and then he got... he just got a very unfortunate attack pattern. Normally you'd want to get 2 Dream Nails in the, for his first attack in the second phase, but Umu just moved really, really far and kind of hit him out of it, so... You see Homothety memeing a little bit. This is not the normal route. He's going to get a bunch of extra Geo to do the Mr. Mushroom ending meme, so... He's back on the regular route now, so... He's making his way up to Beast's Den. I don't think he makes any more detours for Mr. Mushroom. I think he just plays it out regularly now?
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the meme categories in the slightest in this game.
I don't even know. I barely know one main category, and now we're going into meme categories? Whew. It's outside of my area of expertise. I love it.
Question marks abound.
Yeah. Alright, you see Homothety going for a little bit of, a little bit of a slow strat, but he's getting a bunch of soul, and that's because he's going into the hardest area in the game. I was going to say arguably the hardest area in the game, but nah. This area is exceptionally difficult. This is a crazy late game area that you're expected to be a lot stronger than you really are in here, but when coming in here with the only upgrades being Vengeful Spirit, it's pretty difficult. Beast's Den is effectively a boss gating the last streamer, Hera. The other dreamers have Watch Knights and Umu guarding them, and Hera has Beast's Den. Honestly, I'd say Hera is the safest out of all the dreamers, because this area is hard. Filled with spiders everywhere, they're pretty difficult, RNG enemies, they're small, they hide on the walls, they can knock you into spikes. This area is incredibly stressful to run through and on, strong PvD pace.
Yeah,
See Homothety going for a strat that is very consistent. It's a damage tank through the Devouts. If you get hit with the Devout's claws, they do 2 damage, but if you just dash into their face, when they open up to try to hit you, they only deal 1 damage, so it's just more efficient that way. It's a calculated damage tank.
Yeah, and like you say here, these spiders can kind of be in various different positions, so while the way that you traverse this area is set in stone in terms of the path that you take, just some of the on-the-fly adjustments that you have to do make this an extremely stressful area to do, even casually, never mind as a speedrunner.
And man, I was talking about this area being super hard, super challenging. Homothety makes it look easy. He is probably the best runner running through Beast's Den. Him and Scurry come to mind as crazy, crazy good.
You are selling yourself short, good sir. I mean, seen your Beast's Dens. They are also excellent.
They're not bad, but the stuff that Homothety and Scurry do. Scurry has a nickname, the Spider Whisperer. Homothety is making a run for earning his own nickname. I mean, that was incredibly good. That was one of the best Beast's Den runs I've seen in quite a while, if not ever.
Spider conversationalist?
I'll accept it, I have to share the title. Whoever gets the better den. There can only be one.
3330 exit from Hera's Dream on Homothety's side. Heading now to complete the game. He has unlocked the Black Egg Temple where the Hollow Knight resides and is containing the Radiance.
But that's a story for another time.
That is a story for true ending. Yeah, true ending. You think this category is tough?
Oh boy, you haven't seen anything yet.
Go watch a true ending run and take a particular look at White Palace. That is impressive as all get out.
Oh, Acrid got really unfortunate on the spawn of that jellyfish.
Yeah, I just wanted to give it a little kiss.
Yeah. Alright. Homothety is running out of Queen's Garden. Acrid is running into Queen's Garden, you know? Or Queen's Garden Beast Den, but...
Yeah, so the route...
poetic in a way.
the route that Acrid takes here does the Queen's Garden access trick that we talked about, which is... You saw him do an acid skip before, which was fairly, like, kind of almost, like, very quick, almost inconsequential. A lot more forgiving than this one. This one is significantly more precise. Does take one dunk, second try. Very impressive from Acrid. That is not an easy trick. We didn't see it on Homothety's side. Just a mushroom. Speaking of Homothety.
What Acrid just did is by far the hardest mechanical trick in the entire run. So getting it second try is really, really good. I would even be happy with getting it second try.
Yeah, particularly in a race environment.
Oh, yeah. Alright, so Acrid's going to come up on the Queen's Garden Arena, which is a pretty cool area if you do it right. These enemies that he's going to be fighting have 40 HP, so they die to 2 fireballs. However, if you miss them, like he did, it's very weird to try and fix because there's no floor, basically. But if you do them right, oh, look at those doubles. That is what you ideally want to happen, and he had a really, honestly pretty quick fix from that. That arena can be very nasty if it goes wrong.
Yeah, that was also an intentional damage tank on the spikes that he took there to warp to the lever to hit it.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah,
and Homothety is in the
Mr.
event.
Mushroom ending.
Mr. Mushroom ending? Oh, there's another thing here. Okay, sure.
I assume so. We're in uncharted territory now. Acrid is getting very unfortunate patterns. This is the worst room in Queen's Garden. It's not the hardest, but those enemies can have very varied spawns. Wow, I just use very, and then very. That's a strong phrase right there. I started saying that and I was like, I can't stop saying it, but if I continue saying it, I've just said very 3 times in a row. So that's pretty fun.
You might even say that it was a veritable sentence.
Oh my gosh. Terrible person. I love it. The puns. Incredible. Alright.
So Acrid now, moving on towards Beast Den, doing his thing, Crystal Dash. You're going to see him go through the same devout sections that Paz was talking about earlier. 4 health here, not in too shabby a place, but this spider not cooperating. Oh, the snipe from the spider. Got his training from the Navy SEALs. Had to take a kill there.
Before, and then getting soul again. That makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
If you do the Queen's Garden route into Beast Den, you will normally have 4 HP just because of the hazard warp that you saw after the arena. So healing up to 4 for safety it makes sense. I don't know how much more Homothety actually has for Mr. Mushroom, but he's getting pretty close to... Acrid's only like a minute and a half away from finishing Den and running to Hollow Knight at the same time, so Homothety might need to quit out of what he's doing if he's not paying attention.
Actually he's dropping back down in the distant village.
There's so much backtracking. This is amazing. I've never seen a Mr. Mushroom run. This is illuminating. Yeah, this is going to be deceptively close given the time separation that they did have, which was a 4:30-ish around Crystal Heart. Ooh, Acrid to Devout skip. Nice. That's a cool strat where if you have enough Geo heading into Beast Den, you can just skip killing a Devout if they give you a favorable attack. Normally we kill them because they give 35 and 43 Geo, and we need that to buy the distant Stag Station, which is 250 Geo. But Acrid is not. So I haven't seen it before. I kind of like it because it looks cool. But also, what I was talking about where Acrid's getting really close to, killing the Hollow Knight, there's still like a minute in difference between the game timers, so Homothety does have a little bit more time than it looks like because of the in-game time versus real-time timer that we use. So still, this is this is pretty close. I really don't know, just because Mr. Mushroom ending. I expected many things from this race. I don't know why this
Mr. Mushroom was definitely not one of them, no.
But I love it. It's great. Ooh, Homothety is setting his Stag Station back to Dirtmouth, so this might be This might be the ending. He might be going to fight the Hollow Knight now, or he might have one more. Because he's benching. Ah, he's putting on Shock Stone. Never mind. The dream. The dream is dead. No more Acrid upset. Ooh, homothety gets a nice little trick there. If you pause, again, when you unpause, you get control. There's a theme there. Done that in a few more tricks. You can dash to avoid the hard fall after landing in the well. Or landing out of the well, so. Acrid is getting a little bit extra geo to hit the 250 mark so we can buy the Stag Station and run to the Hollow Knight, so. Looks like our dream is dead. Homothety is, in fact, going to fight THK about Acrid. Honestly, it'll probably be more than a minute because Acrid still has to run. But...
Yeah, just on the bit like you were saying before, we do operate on a loadless timer here, which is why you have seen the timers separate between the runners over the course of this race. Obviously, that implies that Homothety's got a slightly better PC than Acrid, but we do that for the purposes of fairness. If we were running this RTA, it just wouldn't be fair to the racers, both in terms of the speedrun leaderboard and in the tournament here. So Homothety beginning the Hollow Knight fight, left side of your screen. Ideally, same as before, we were talking about it in the Hornet fight, you're looking to cast your fireballs as the Hollow Knight is moving away from you in order to take advantage of the extra hitbox size on the fireball that you get from Shaman Stone in order to deal 2 hits of damage, which at this point is 40 if you get the double hit. And bullying Hollow Knight into a corner, looking to steal his lunch money, Homothety, ruthless, takes a couple stabs back to the face.
Staggers Hollow Knight as he jumps, so you get the good looking, you get that weird looking jump. That's kind of rare. I like it. I like it.
Down 2 health, a little low on soul. Doesn't seem like he's going to be going for the heals either, as he's getting multitudinous parries from the Hollow Knight, not having any of his crap, looking to keep hold of that lunch money he wants, his hot dogs.
Ooh, heals to 5, going for the safety. Doesn't really have a reason to risk it. It's fine. So yeah, the name of the game for THK is DPS, and you can go for double hits on dashes, but in an optimal, perfect world, you would get only slash attacks. We just let you beat on him always. It would be an insane fight. But yeah, we actually have both people fighting THK at the same time, at least in RTA. So this is pretty cool. I like it. This is a very, very fun boss to just individually fight. Just practice him time after time after time. There's a weird rhythm, weird pattern to him that feels really good to get down. So.
Yeah, I would say, for me anyway, both the Hollow Knight and the Hornet are probably my favorite engagements, particularly Hornet 2, I feel, which you don't see in this category, unfortunately. But like you say, the rhythm of the fight just feels very comfortable.
But yeah, Homothety is finishing up the Hollow Knight fight with absorbing the infection, continuing the storyline. And now we see Acrid finishing the first half of the fight, starting the second half. So I'm going to switch audio to Acrid because, yeah, there's more fun stuff happening. But stay tuned, because now Homothety will be seeing the Mr. Mushroom ending. As far as I know, that's at the end of the credits. That's what he's been going for. I think so. I think he got all the Mr. Mushroom spots. He may have had to cut it close because Acrid was, actually starting to finish.
Yeah, he'll be able to elucidate that for us a little bit more when he pops in here. He wants to have a bit of a chat.
Yeah. Ooh, that was a really nice ending to the fight for Acrid. That was solid. Solid THK for Acrid. That's pretty good. Can you do that? Oh, you can. Huh. I just learned that you can dash away from THK and still do the focus, and I think it's going. Or do you have to stand near him?
You have to stand near him in order to
okay.
harness the radiance. Yep.
That's interesting. Huh. The more you know. That was a fun race. I learned a bunch of stuff. I learned Mr. Mushroom spots, and I learned that you have to be near Acrid. You have to be near Acrid. You have to be near
You have to be near Acrid.
Bro, I have to be near Acrid. Ooh, that's a... I was looking at Acrid's screen, it's just like, it happens, it happens.
Yeah. So right. Definitely not the best times for either runners, I'm sure. Homothety obviously doesn't doesn't care as much probably, but he does win the race, and he advances on to the next round of the winners bracket to face off against Axe2U, unofficial record holder. No vid, no did, unfortunately. We'll see whether or not he can put together another PB and reclaim that. Meanwhile, Acrid is going to be moving on into the losers bracket, which begins next week. He will be fighting Xylo7.
Yep. And like a 40-46 versus a 42-45. It's really close to just 2 minutes flat between them. I like that. It's pretty cool.
Kurosh informing us in the HK Discord, he did half of Mr. Mushroom. So he did end up bailing on it.
So on that note, because homothety only did half of the route that he was going for, he is the loser in our hearts. Any invite, or do we have to invite homothety? I don't know how this works. I just got an invite randomly from the SpeedGaming person for interviews. I do not even know. Let's see, where's homothety? I need to message him. Alright, it's... Alright, looks like that worked. We'll get homothety in here.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Well, hello, homothety. How goes the Mr. Mushroom ending?
Well, I couldn't finish. I feel a little bad about that.
That is a shame. That is a shame. How far did you get in it? Kurosh said about halfway. Do you have?
Yeah, a little under half. The next one is at Cyclone Slash, and the one after that is at Monarch Wings. And like, I might have been able to squeeze in Cyclone Slash, but
it would have been
I was gonna go all the way and fight Broken Vessel while Acrid sits outside the Black Egg or something. So that would not be very cool.
I get that. I get that.
You have to be tasteful.
Yeah.
This sort of thing.
So when did the decision pop into your mind to do Mr. Mushroom? Was that as the third cycle hit, or?
I mean, honestly, the decision had been in my mind since like the moment the bracket was set.
That's fair.
But like I didn't really decide to go for the first one until like Acrid died to Hornet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then like I figured I had enough time at that point. Oh no, I don't have the charm on. Rip.
This is unfortunate.
Yeah. Oh well. I give up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just wanted to do something a little fun since I know it wasn't a very competitive race.
Yeah.
So coming up next, you're going to be facing off against Axe2U. You recently also, as well, improved your time. 4 days ago, updated on the speedrun.com leaderboards 33:30, which
That's
is
right. I was significantly faster than X2U, so really nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about.
Agreed.
So eight seconds ahead of his unrecorded record.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts heading into that and the kind of practice that you anticipate doing? Things you might need to work on in order to defeat him?
Honestly, compared to X, I really don't feel like I have too many strong advantages other than a very late game. X, of course, being well known for effortlessly knocking out perfect early games in every run. So, really, you know, odds are the race is going to be decided by something else anyways, like Umu cycles or bosses or something of that nature. But if it isn't, I certainly want to control the amount of time I lose to him there.
Are you looking past Axe2U at this point into later on in the rounds, or are you just focusing on him for the time being?
At Fireborn, yeah, who knows what happens there, to be quite honest. But certainly at this point, Axe2U is looking like the man to beat in this tournament. I don't know how rusty Fireborn is or isn't necessarily. He is certainly a formidable foe.
Yeah, both Fire and Axe are ridiculously good, and I don't know what Fire has been doing recently. He hasn't been streaming, so I just don't really know. But Axe,
yeah, it could be anything, right? Like he could already have 332 skewed up, or
I do know a little bit about the situation that's going on with Fire. It's not our business to talk about it.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I'm
yeah,
not actually trying to go into that.
yeah, yeah,
Just memeing a little
yeah.
because well, Fireborn is especially well known for disappearing from the Hollow Knight community for a little under a year and then coming back with a substantial world record. So,
Mhm.
You know, once is a coincidence, twice is the start of a pattern, and then it's just like, oh boy.
And third is splicing.
Is it an April Fool's or oh god, no, it's not.
yeah, Fireborn a bit of a legend now because of that.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the Hollow Knight 80% NMG tournament continues tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern, with the aforementioned Fireborn facing off against Cake Sauce. Saturday at noon Eastern, we'll have Visuals versus Kileva, and shortly after that, Tombo versus Time Sync as well. So a lot of Hollow Knight content coming up for you here on the SpeedGaming network of channels.
Yep, lots and lots of matches for round two. And a lot of interesting stuff to see. I know Cake Sauce has been PBing left and right, so even though Fireboard is still the world record holder, definitely don't want to miss that match.
Yeah, I've seen Cake Sauce do, I think it's a I Want to Be the Guy. He's playing that a lot, and yet he's still managing to churn out PBs in Hollow Knight. So some natural talent coming up there for sure, I agree. All right, that is going to do it for us. Thank you very much. My name is Shafe, joined alongside Pest. Homothety advancing on to the next round of the winners bracket. GG to you, sir.
Yep, thanks for watching, commentating, etc.